Hi, hi. Thank you for joining me here on YouTube for just some time to turn in and nurture that part of us that is often, as I've titled this, the negative space, what we just don't notice. It's so subtle, and even subtle implies the opposite of not subtle, obvious, more mm, foreground and background. And these are helpful words, but really we're going beyond what is subtle, beyond what is subtle, what's always here, what's unchanging. So I'll talk a little bit about this theme and about our practice, and then we'll do a tiny little movements. Our attention will come to our movements, and we will sit in stillness and silence. So have what you need to be comfortable, a place to sit, lie down, whatever position is comfortable for this time of roughly a half hour together. It's a new time. Hi, Mary Beth. I'm guessing you can hear me. It's a new time, an hour earlier, and we're here. I did have to chop chop to get here. Okay, so let's arrive. And where we are in our body, we are also here in this magical portal of YouTube world, in the Sun and Moon yoga studio community that I've been a part of for over 2 decades. And all that is palpable. If you're just joining me through YouTube, maybe that's palpable. If you've never set foot in one of our brick and mortar brick and mortar studios. But what is palpable, I'm quite sure, through our bodies and to different degrees as we practice it, is just coming into this body and feeling what we're feeling through the marvel of our nervous system, our senses. And the nervous system relies on muscle and fluid and chemicals, all part of this amazing being that we are, in this vessel taking us through this temporary life and arriving, and more arriving through what you can feel in your body, especially to what's touching below you, with in the verticality of sky above and earth below. If you're laying down, for example, below you, you might think toward your feet, but below you, closer to earth. Just resting the attention, your attention there. Perhaps beginning to notice breathing is present as your focus, if at least with my invitation, is toward the body touching the ground, and that way that we perceive the solidity or the fluidity and the particular shapes of our body as gravity pulls us to touch the earth. Very different, and most of us at least have seen video or footage of what it would be like to be on the moon or in space or in a vessel out in space or in our spacesuit without gravity, or when you're in water. When you're in water, we've had that sense. And while you're sensing down into wherever your body touches ground, feet, back body, head, shoulders if you're lying down, pelvis, your buttocks, and what the hands get to touch is maybe my hands are resting on my feet and ankles just now. That's their ground. And while we're noticing these interactions, these relationships, we are also, just by virtue of this tool of attention, it's it's porous and lets in to different degrees depending on how we're using it, how it's trained. Lets in breath, the awareness of breath, of sound. And I'm having my eyes closed a lot. You're welcome to do that. And even as you're sensing your body now, primarily the focus of attention there, can you I invite you to feel out to the space of the room you're in, and if you're in the outdoors, that's a larger space. And usually our attention goes to the solid objects in space. But imagine for a moment the space, focusing on the space, and the space is cut out with these solid objects three-dimensionally. Feel yourself, or if you slightly open your eyes, as I now have the I have a table in front of me, some blankets are on the floor around me, a couch to the left of me with animals on it. And then just sense the space that's between all those objects around them and also in them. It's almost as if space permeates them, but I'm not sure that's accurate. But in our bodies, if you go down, depending on the lens we're taking, so if you go to the level of the atom, the the parts of the atom subatomically, if we take that lens, we then go to if I've been told this through science that we know that the size of the particles in the atom, I think, is something like about the size of a peanut in a football stadium. The rest is space. So just coming to this to share this perspective, you might notice that something's happened that's different with your body, your being, than it was a few minutes ago or half an hour ago. I was about to suggest what it might be, but you feel for yourself. That's more valuable. Sense that you're breathing now, and we can keep that sense of spaciousness and that sense so our attention can kind of be on a few things at once. Maybe it'll jump and some things will be held together. Notice your breathing as well as noticing the feel of your being, of your body, of all of you, the whole of you. Keep a orientation toward lightness and ease in the effort of attention, moving it toward effortless attention. Hunting the birds, the breath, and what we're noticing, what we can notice about the breath is what? What do you notice? What's the quality? Is there laboring? Is it a small, it's occupying small spaces in your body or large spaces? And where? Where in your body are you feeling the breath's movement, the location, the quality, and perhaps the duration through time? How long does a breath in feel? Out, duration. Is there a pause at the top, or is there just a fill, turn to empty? But there's a turn there at least to a different kind of activity. And as we're watching our breath, can there be a little attention on the what I'll call the negative space, the that's all around us, invisible, holding us, unchanging, welcoming to everything. Space doesn't say, oh, this table can't be here. And bring your attention now to include your hands. Maybe you can still notice breath. You still sort of are aware of what qualities you're sensing and feeling as a whole person, whole being, your experience as a whole being. And also now attending to your hands. Place your hands so that your thumb is available on one hand. You can use your dominant or non-dominant hand, doesn't matter. You can use both hands at once actually for this practice. Thumb is available to tap to each finger easily, some position like that. So palms down, good work, palms down. You'd be sliding along your legs or wherever they're placed. I'm placing my hands palms up. And here's our tiny movement today. As we breathe in, touch your index finger and thumb together. As we breathe out, touch the middle finger and thumb together. And another breath in touches the fourth finger, or sometimes called ring finger, and thumb together. And the next breath out, pinky tip and thumb tip touch to each other. And then again, so there's two full breaths for each of these patterns with the fingers in to the index finger, thumb. Breathing out, thumb touches middle finger. Breathing in, touching to the fourth finger from the thumb. And thumb to pinky as we breathe out. And just continue that little pattern. And while this is such an easy movement, most of the time, or I shouldn't even say most, some of the time, for some reason, this could be hindered. There could be something in the thumb joint or some part of the hand or wrist. And follow as you take this movement with the breath. Follow the feel of what's happening through the wrist, forearm, or arms, elbows, upper arm, shoulder, collarbone, neck, upper back, the belly, the heart, even down through the legs and feet. Perhaps there's an echo, an association with this tiny movement. Some of you may well know there's a tradition, might be from a kind of yoga called Kundalini Yoga, where we add a mantra to this pattern. If you know that, you can do that. But I'm going to change us up just a little bit to where the first touch to the index finger is an in breath. The second touch is the pause after the in breath, or just the turn. The third touch, thumb to ring finger, is out breath, and pinky to thumb is the pause after the out breath, or just the turn. So the duration of how long we stay in each finger might be different. If you like, you can start to make those pauses longer, especially the one after the out breath can bring um, more calming. The one after the in breath, making that, accentuating that by lengthening it a little in time, can bring more energy. You can do both. And I hope I'm audible. I realize I'm speaking quite low and quiet. And the next time, perhaps this next time that you finish at the pinky finger, let go of the movement. Notice what happens in the feel of this lens of attention, this tool, and how you're noticing your body, feet, your belly space, your heart space, your head space, throat, your back body, how you notice the inner spaces and the space just around your body, under the body. And even if there's not space, just that taking the idea that the even ground, even something very, very solid, is actually mostly space. And I bet if we were able to, and I don't know my physics well enough and science of these submolecular subparticles, perhaps even at a finer level there, we are mostly vibration, not even anything solid. And let's segue into about 7 minutes of stillness and silence. My words will puncture this silence here and there. Just take that easy attention that we have been employing. And I had a little quandary of which of three poems were vying for my attention to bring today. And I'm going with a very simple one. The others I'll save for later, by a poet named Anna Swir, Swir, no longer alive, Polish origin. Our two silences. Silence flows into me and out of me, washing my past away. I am pure already, waiting for you. Bring me your silence. They will doze off, nestled in each other's arms. Our two silences. As one of my teachers says, enjoy the journey. Noticing is always happening. There is possibly a choice to let it be a little more relaxed and open and passive, like the space around us, seemingly. Invitation is to stay relaxed. This space of our hearts and attention actually can hold seeming inconsistencies, seeming paradoxes. Our mind can't always hold those, but watch and see if how opposites can both be true, be present. Busy mind and quiet mind. To note the end of our practice, our intentional practice, we can bring our palms in front of our heart. And today, what comes to mind is the metta prayer of may all beings be, know health, may all beings know their safety, may all beings know peace, may all beings know their potential for knowing their true self. This gesture of a bow of the hands in front of our heart, very powerful. So just feel for yourself what is in it for you, what it expresses, what it brings you. And thank you for joining me once again. It's really, really precious to me. This practice, this community together, even as remote as it seems, more and more it's realer and realer to us. And today, just to kind of cap what my main ideas were, um, was this that that we can be, in fact, it behooves us for our own peace to, in our journey to notice that which is unchanging, and whether you call that God, negative space, uh, pure being. I think it's shunyata, emptiness, in the some parts of the Buddhist traditions. Um, love. Some of my teachers use that word for it. You can. It's helpful to use multiple words, and as in the Jewish tradition, sometimes it's. I believe, if I'm correct, it's not written. The word for this, it sometimes is called God because it's not. You can't put it into a word. It already changes it and limits it. So there's that attending to that, or seeking it through prayer or through quiet and through silence, meditation, being conscious of it, simply making that connect. And secondly, in that, there is, so that's that always being, and then there's always becoming. There's the relative world of time and limits and shapes and change, and how we meet that, to be more and more um, attentive to how we meet what is moving through these limited, wonderful forms. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.